Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's January 21st and something just ain't right here. I'm down here in the south and there's this white stuff all over the place. I just don't know what's going on. Oh, for real, I guess we got a little dusting of snow last night. Some of it kind of melted off, but some is still here. But what we're going to talk about today is onions. Now, down here in the south, we plant our onions somewhere around the middle of October here in my area to maybe the middle of November. And my onions are looking a little, well, I say they're looking a lot rough. They are just kind of, you can see where the frost spurt. Now, they're still alive. They'll still come back. But we still have some cold weather. We're going to be down in the teens tonight, maybe 17, which is much too cold. I think it's much too cold for you up north. That y'all can keep that up there. I live down here because I like it. Kind of cold, maybe occasional snow, but I don't like it when it's down much below freezing. We're gonna go look in a little greenhouse here that's in need of some repairs. You can see you got a few slits in that side. You can see what this thing did last night. Now it says 32 in here right now, but the low degrees in here was 12 degrees. Now, 12 degrees is really cold. Now, this stuff here is covered up. It'll do fine. The other lettuce, we pretty much picked it. We've got a few left, and they're going to be looking mighty toasty, but here in a day or two, we'll cut those and give them to the chickens, and they'll be happy. Let's see how bad it got in the bigger greenhouse while we're out here. But what this video is today, I'm going to be talking about some seeds starting again. I'm going to start some more onions. I had planned to anyway, just to see which ones would do the best, the ones that didn't have to go through the winter or the ones that actually went through the winter. Now we got our broccoli covered. I'm going to pick me a little bit while I'm out here. And I'm going to go ahead and see how cold it got in here. Now we've got our citrus and our banana pups covered up. Our other bananas, we have chopped all the leaves. The previous freezes got them. I'm hoping that it didn't freeze the trunk. Maybe it was warm enough that it didn't destroy them. So they'll go ahead and put out leaves if they didn't. Otherwise, they'll grow back from the bottom. It's just one of those things that happens. But we're going to come down through here and we're going to see. This one here only got down to 18 degrees. And it's 34, which 34 is fine. All this stuff that's under here would have fared fine. It's getting a lot of ground heat. It's kind of keeping all that real cold weather off it. Now the broccoli in here, I figure I'm going to pick me a little bit because I want some fresh broccoli in the salad, but I think I'm going to have to get up underneath a row cover to do that. But anyway, we're not going to spend much time out here. We're going to go in and we're going to plant some seeds. Well, you know, this broccoli here is out. It looks like it's cold and it looks like it needs to go for a salad. And while I'm at it, why don't I just pick this other little head? The leaves are yellowing on these, but it's not so much from the cold. It's they're getting some kind of blight or fungus on them. So anyway, let's go talk about seeds. It's much warmer here in the workshop. We've got some trays filled. We'll probably do some more. Now, the plan today is to plant some more lettuce. As you've seen, it looks mighty bad, and it does take lettuce a little bit, especially in the cool weather, to grow. Now, I've got this gourmet blend lettuce, which is got 2 or 3 different varieties in here, which is pretty good. It's got some red leaf and then a couple of green leaves. And I've got this other one here, uh, this Lola Rosa. I kind of like this, makes a nice little pretty head. We harvest these as leaves as they grow. And then I have one more variety here. This is the red oak leaf uh, lettuce. And I'm going to plant those. I'll plant me about a third of this tray here, which 72 cell tray. With those, I'll put 3 to 4 seeds in each one. It's not going to hurt if they all come up together. Sometimes I harvest just the whole clump, and sometimes if some of them start coming on sooner, I'll just harvest some leaves until the others get ready. The other thing I'm planning to do, because you've seen the onions, and I was planning to try this year, I'm going to plant some more onions. I'm not going to plant too many. I'll do them kind of sparse, but I think I'll go ahead and plant this whole tray, but I'm just not going to plant a whole lot of seeds in each one. That way they have a better chance. But I'm going to plant a red Creole, which is a little more potent or pungent red onion. It's not quite as sweet as some of the others. And then I'm going to plant the one I like to plant all the time. This is the Texas Grano, the 1015Y, and that's October 15th. That's where that number comes from. That's normally where around here when the date they plant these. So anyway, I'm going to plant those. And you might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to plant some watermelons. Now, I don't know which watermelons I'm growing. I have a hard time to figure out. I got the Sugar Baby, which is kind of a small melon, not too big, more of a personal size watermelon. I have a Crimson Sweet, which is a really nice watermelon. Now, I have this Royal Golden watermelon. Now, this one is a little different than most. You can get this from Baker Creek Seeds. This is a heirloom variety. This is it's a yellow watermelon. When it gets ripe, it turns yellow, but it's red meat inside. And I grew these probably back in 2021. So these are older seeds, but they should germinate just fine. But I grew this one, and I didn't start it right when I should. And so I got a little taste. They somewhat got ripe, but they didn't really get ripe. We had problems. They didn't seem as vigorous as some of the other varieties, but I might try these again. The Legacy, that's more of a one that a lot of the commercial growers grow. The Black Diamond, a lot of you have probably heard about that one. That one, they'll grow some big 30, 40 pound watermelons. That's kind of big for eating, but when you like to grow big ones, that's very good. And they've always been pretty tasty. The Jubilee, this is another good one. It's pretty vigorous and it's got good flavor. The All Sweet is another watermelon that's kind of the commercial grower. This one is a little bit longer. It's more. It's normally more consistent in size and stuff, but it's good and sweet. And the Tender Sweet. Now, the Tender Sweet is a yellow meat, or I say orange meat watermelon. And if you get a good seed variety of these, they're really good. But it's getting harder and harder to find a good Tender Sweet watermelon seed. So we'll try these again. Now, these say 2004 seeds because I bought these sometime last year. I don't know. They could actually be an older seed than that. But I've got to decide because I don't want to plant all of these watermelons. But you think it's kind of early, January 21st. But normally, if you're going to transplant, it takes roughly about 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, and it just depends. You don't want to slow them down. A lot of the commercial growers try to get these in the ground, their transplants in the ground by the end of February, and that's what I'm going to try. This year, I'm not going to plant all that many watermelons, so I'm going to protect them as much as I can. I've got a plastic half barrel that I can cover them, which is a little bit of work, but it's well worth it if I can get a watermelon early. Because one thing about growing season, there's 3 things that I always look forward to. And some of the rest of you might be that way. In fact, you might put in the comments every year what you look forward to growing first and eating first fresh out of your garden. But for me, nothing says spring like when cucumbers starts coming on, when tomatoes start coming on, and nothing says the end of spring and summer when watermelons start coming on. So we want to try to get these right at the first of summer. That'd be around the 3rd week in June. So we're going to get these planted this year. Last year we planted them early. We had good success with them living, but we had bad success with the grass. But this year we're going to move where we have them. So hopefully they ought to thin a whole lot better for themselves. But anyway, let me try to narrow this down for right now, because I can always plant a little later crop. I've got plenty of garden space. But I have to decide what I want to start out with. And the main thing is I'm trying to find out exactly how long this takes for me to get a good transplant without having them bound up. And I'm going to use these bigger trays, and if for some reason I can't put them out, I'll step them on up. Okay, I've got my 1 tray of red ones. You can see I've got probably a dozen or more seeds in each one of these little areas. Now I've kind of compressed this down just about a 1/4 inch. Now what I'm going to do is put perlite on top of here, and I just buy it in bulk, and we're just going to kind of spread this out to cover these good. And I'll go through and do all this, but I know I go through this every year. Some of those of you that follow real regular, I hope it doesn't get old to you, but for those that are new, I find now I used to just cover these with the potting mixture that I use and do them that way, but the tops tend to hang up in there. They don't pull out; they'll stay looped, and it just makes it a little harder for them to germinate. This serves 2 purposes. It'll keep the moisture there, but it also keeps dry on top. So if you ever have a fungal gnat problem, if you're doing this stuff inside, perlite will dry out, and so the fungal gnats can't lay their eggs right there, land on the top of it and lay their eggs. So you won't end up with a problem. You can do this with any of your plants as far as putting a little perlite on top to cut down on that problem. But you don't want fungal gnats, the little, when they hatch, the little worms that grow in there, they're going to mess with your roots of your plants and stuff, and you're not going to have as much healthy plants. So this is a good way for any of your planting, but mainly I use this for seeds like that have a problem popping out of the ground. You could do lettuce that way, but I find I just barely cover lettuce because it does better whenever it's up close to the top. But anyway, I'm going to finish these up, and then we'll get them on the shelf with a dome. Now also on my little grow station here, I've went ahead and I put a heat mat on part of it. Now my peppers that I planted earlier were slow to germinate. Some of them haven't germinated yet. I started some new ones, so we'll see how they do. But peppers like it up about 85 degrees or so. And so hopefully they'll do better and go ahead and come up. But we'll keep after it till we get our transplants coming up. But hopefully this new batch, I hope it's not a seed problem. I hope it's just that it's a temperature problem. But we're going to put the onions on the grow mat too. That's not going to hurt them. But when we plant our lettuce, we're not going to put it on the heat mat because the temperature will really be too high. It will germinate, but it won't germinate as well as when it's at that warmer temperature. Okay, there we go. We got them all on the grow station, ready to go. We even got banana trees in here. They're looking a whole lot better than the ones outside. We brought a couple of small ones in, figured just in case the freeze got the other ones and they couldn't withstand, we'd bring them in. And I got a sickly looking, but it's hanging in there, sweet potato. This is one of my Covingtons. I didn't have very good success, but I did have a few small ones that was left, and I went ahead and potted them up. I've got a few that was bigger that I saved, but I wanted to make sure that I got some, so I went ahead and potted these, and I'll keep them in there till comes time. We've got a few months. But anyway, that's where we're sitting today. I hope you enjoyed this update. I hope you realize it's not too hard to grow a lot of these things. Timing's the biggest thing on it. Like I say, onions are easy to grow your own, even though we put them in the ground when they're really little. Being they've got roots and they're actively growing, they seem to do just as good as the bigger pencil-sized ones that you buy in bundles, which don't count yours out. But anyway, if you want to see more content like this, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give it a big thumbs up. And of course, let me know what you're planting. Enjoy that gardening experience.